Up until now, there have been, in my opinion, 3 licensed superhero games that could easily be considered masterpieces. Those games are all in the same franchise: Batman Arkham City, Batman Arkham Asylum, and Batman Arkham Knight. Now, one more superhero game not only joins the Arkham trilogy, but surpasses it, setting an entirely new standard. Marvel's Spider-Man is polished, pretty, expansive, and made with love. It is the best superhero game and quite easily one of my favorite games of all time. It has everything a Spider-Man game should have. Web slinging is addictive and feels absolutely amazing. Combat is a joy, and you can use multiple approaches to tear through enemies. Then there's the incredible cast with heroes and villains, and all of their relationships are fantastically developed. Insomniac also gives us a first look at adult Spidey outside of the comic books, and the developer has an enormous respect for the source material as it's showered throughout New York. The end result is a fantastic game that should be on anyone's radar. The combat takes a lot of inspiration from the Arkham games, forcing players to utilize counters, gadgets, finishers, and all the other bells and whistles. Like the Arkham trilogy, you can stealthily clear out rooms, or you can jump into the pack of gangsters, web shooters blazing. Combat can be overwhelming at first, however, the more you learn, the more rewarding battles get. And at his full combat potential, Spider-Man is a monster, stealthily clearing out rooms or wiping out hordes of baddies in a heartbeat. Enemies will never know what hit them, as even in an open brawl, Spidey is constantly zipping around one corner to the next. Combat is fun, stylish, and insanely rewarding. No other superhero game has had fighting this smooth. As I said before, web slinging is awesome. The web slinging feature is unique to the Spider-Man games, and it's also one of the most important aspects. Traversal has to feel right, or else the game is starting off on the wrong foot. Luckily, Marvel's Spider-Man web slinging is better than ever. I'm not even sure why Insomniac bothered putting fast travel in the game, because it's just so damn addicting to just swing your way to the next mission. Long Island has been faithfully recreated in Marvel's Spider-Man with a few new Marvel twists, but I want you to discover those things for yourself, so I won't go into detail. I spent so much time swinging through buildings that I often forgot about the lively streets below. They're detailed and packed with people. Simply walking through the streets and interacting with citizens is a great time. Needless to say, the game boasts a living, breathing world, and there's plenty of random crimes constantly occurring throughout the city, so you're never bored. Something I absolutely must mention is the strong stealth gameplay for Mary Jane. Despite having no superpowers of her own, Mary Jane does not hide from danger. She can't punch her way out of the room with the same grace as our favorite webhead, but she does have a knack for sneaking around. At numerous points throughout the game, you will find MJ in sticky situations. MJ has to worry about her own survival rather than engaging with the enemy. Tiptoe carefully, stick to the shadows, and recognize that you have no room for error. These missions were very tense and very satisfying, and Insomniac Games does an excellent job of constantly adding new mechanics to keep the stealth missions from wearing thin. I was amazed by how strong the game's characters were. The plot was pretty simple for the most part, but the excellent characters carried the game's emotional weight. Villains were well designed, built up well, and had believable motives. Numerous side characters such as MJ, Aunt May, and others had all their own captivating moments in the spotlight, and tons of exciting developments occur throughout the game. Certain villains steal every scene that they're in, and when the game's plot finally did pick up in the third act, it was the characters that delivered the torch to deliver some of the most powerful moments I've ever encountered in any form of media. Its biggest flaw is that some of the villains lacked a legitimate story presence. It can just take a little bit too long to encounter any of the beloved side villains, and several did not even receive a dedicated story mission. And it was pretty disappointing that some of the villains were immediately wiped out the second they showed up. Outside of that though, it's a fantastic game. Combat is off the walls fun, web slinging is amazing, and the open world is fantastically designed. The heroes and villains are extremely well done. There are so many jaw-dropping moments throughout the game. Even if you're not a comic book fan or even a Spider-Man fan, I think you're in for a great time no matter what.